The next thing we're going to make and demonstrate for you today is the diamond kite. This is a tiny, tiny kite that's made with household items. So 2 bamboo skewers, plastic grocery bags, and just a little bit of recycled cardboard and string, and you pretty much have it. It's a very small, modest looking kite, but it flies really, really well. We tested it multiple times. As long as you have 8 miles per hour of wind, it will get a lot of lift and stay in the air no problem, and it's pretty fun to watch. We sent you a pretty detailed handout of how to make it with pictures, and it works if you follow the handout, but we also thought it would be helpful for you to see it being made. Okay, so the first thing we want to start off with are our 2 bamboo skewers. Just get this in the kitchen supplies area of the grocery store. Cut off the pointy ends. You definitely want to make sure that you cut off the pointy ends before you give them to the students to handle. The next part is a little bit more confusing. You want to take one of the skewers and then mark the halfway point. Going to be about here. Okay, and then you're going to mark the halfway point from that point to the end of it, so a quarter. Okay, so halfway between the 2 ends, and then halfway again between your middle point and the end. So you have the quarter line marked and then the halfway line marked. And do the same with your second one. Mark that quarter point and mark the center. You actually only need the quarter point on the second bamboo skewer, but if you mark them both, that's fine. Okay, so put these aside, and then you're going to grab your piece of plastic grocery bag. Now this one, this is a grocery bag. You could also use garbage bags, and that works just as well. So whatever you have on hand, let me scoot back the camera so you can see. So I cut my grocery bag in half, and I'm laying out the piece of plastic as flat as I can. And students can help each other by holding down the plastic as they trace. So this part is also a little bit tricky, but as long as they follow the instructions, they should be fine. And here's where our little quarter points matter. So what they're going to do is form a T shape with their bamboo skewers. And let me hold it up to you so you can see it actually closer on camera. Where the points are going to cross is at the quarter point for one of the bamboo skewers, and then the half point for the other one. So what you're going to get is T-shape. Again, where they're going to meet is at the quarter point for one of the bamboo skewers, and then the half point for the second one. And it's going to form a T-shape or a cross shape. Okay. Then what they're going to want to do with their marker, and if you have permanent markers available, that actually works best for this, is holding down their T-shape. And again, they could have a partner help them make sure that their paper or their plastic is nice and flat. Is mark all of the points. Okay, so you have 4 points. Try to hold it steady. Okay, then you can move the sticks. And then they're going to need a nice straight edge, a nice ruler. And then they're going to draw a line connecting those 4 dots, those 4 points. And what they should end up with is a diamond shape. They can go ahead and cut that out. And try to keep their cutting as straight as possible. Something you do want to go over with the students is symmetry. So having a completely symmetrical kite is very important in terms of keeping the kite flying straight. So that matters in how they cut it. It also matters in terms of how they tape it. They don't want to have more tape on one side rather than the other. Otherwise, their kite's going to fly towards the side and kind of dive, which we don't want. Okay. So there we have, a little easier to see now. Here's our diamond shape. And the next thing we're going to do is tape the bamboo skewers to the plastic. The best thing to use, if you have it available, is packing tape. And because it's kind of hard for students to handle packing tape, if you have time during prep, actually cut out 4 equal pieces, and remember they have to be of equal size because we want the kite to be symmetrical, and stick them on the sides of their tables as they work. If not, Scotch tape also works, not as well, but it'll work. And the students can actually just use their, or cut off their own Scotch tape pieces because that's a little bit easier for them. But you are going to want to tape this down now, very carefully. Okay. So I know you're not going to see this really well, but you'll see when I do the other ends. So what you want to do, you should be holding this flat when you do it, is put that piece of tape down so it's sticking the bamboo skewer on, and then fold it over to the back side. Okay, and check to make sure that the plastic is really secure, and that's good. At this point, although this step isn't completely necessary, it's kind of nice, you kind of trim off the excess so you get that shape of the kite. And then do the other end. Again, the student should do this flat on the table, but I'll hold it up so you can see. Okay, tape that on, fold it over so it's going over to the back side. Okay, and then securing the kite down there. Trim off the ends. So we have one of the skewers secured onto our plastic. Okay, so here we have the diamonds taped on to the crossed skewers and really secure. You want to make sure that it's on really, really well. Okay. Now what you're going to do, and this part's a little bit tricky, is you're going to flip the kite over. So again, here are the bamboo skewers, here's the other side. At the point where the 2 skewers cross, you're going to cut a tiny hole in the grocery bag. Just a small one, not too big. Okay, you can barely see it. I'll actually draw a little dot where I cut it. Okay, again, where the 2 bamboo skewers cross, you're going to cut a tiny hole. And I marked it with my, my green pen right there. And then we are going to take our kite string. So you should just buy crochet thread. It's the best kind, just plain white thread. I'm going to use colored string right now just so it's easier for you to see on camera. You want to get a small piece. And we're just going to use this small piece to secure the 2 bamboo skewers. Okay, so again, I just used a small piece of string to tie the skewers together. The next thing I'm going to do, and this part's probably the most confusing for folks, is I'm going to get my really long piece of kite string, so 30 feet or so of crochet thread. Should probably, I mean, you can have the students measure it themselves, but have it pre-cut. So now we're going to attach, again, this is our super long piece, 30 feet of crochet thread. This is going to be our kite string. Now you're going to attach it to the kite. So remember that hole that we cut in into the plastic? We're going to feed the end of our kite string through this hole. Okay, and pull it through the other side where the bamboo skewers are. And then we're going to tie it to the bamboo skewers. And it's a little bit complicated because then you only have one free end of string here, so you're gonna have to tie it to itself. Okay. Maybe make a double knot just to be sure. Triple knot just to make sure it doesn't got undone in the wind. Okay, trim off excess. Now, what was hard to explain in the handout, but maybe it's easier for you to see here, is that the long end of the string is going to come out this side. So when the kite is flying in the air, it's going to fly like this. The skewers, the side with the skewers, is going to be facing skyward or up, and then you're going to be looking up at the kite like this. So the skewered side will be facing away from you when you're flying the kite. Other end. Now, probably the biggest challenge, if you've made kites before, especially with little kids, is being really careful not to get your kite string tangled. All you need to do is find a piece of cardboard. Okay, just a small piece is fine, so this is probably 2 by 6. Get some masking tape or the mailing tape, whatever tape you have around. Make sure this is taped on securely. Okay. And then the students can wrap the string to keep it from getting all tangled around this. So this is going to be their kite handle. So nothing fancy, again, just a 2 by 6 piece of cardboard. Okay, so when they're walking out, when you guys go fly your kite, they could have it rolled up so it's not going to get tangled. But we're still not done. Okay, so again, here is our kite. It's going to be flying in the air like this, but it still is missing one piece, and that's the tail, and it's also an easy piece to make. Okay. So we'll put aside our kite. We're going to get another plastic grocery bag, and you will need 1 to 2 of these. Okay. And you're going to cut this into long strips that are about 2 inches wide. So for this, it's going to be about 10 feet long, your kite tail, which seems like it's going to be too long, but it's not. It actually really works. It keeps the kite straight and flying at the right angle as it's in the air. Okay, so here are my strips. I mean, you could see they're not even or pretty at all, and that does not matter because once you start tying them together, you won't even notice, and once they start flying in the air, they're going to kind of twist a little bit. You won't notice that they're uneven at all. So again, don't even bother measuring these at first because you're going to have to tie them together like this. Okay, so just take the ends of 2 strings, make a little knot, and keep doing that. You're going to want 1 long strip for a kite. So here is the side with the skewers that's taped down. We're going to tie the kite tail right here. Okay. Just double knot it because that will be flying around in the wind. So we make it secure. There you go. A very, very simple and small, but very fun kite.